Hi guys, it's Jenny and welcome to the BookTube Club in the month of February, the book club in which we can discuss what we read in the past month, brought to you by Tea and Cookies. No, actually not. Brought to you by Sparkling Apple Juice. Is it true that sparkling water is considered gourmet in the US? I think that's really strange. Please tell me if that's, I just heard it somewhere. And strawberry stracciatella yogurt, which is really good. It looks really gross, but it's really delicious. Really delicious. Okay, let's start. The first book that I read in February was Ignite Me by Tahereh and Mafi. And if you don't know Ignite Me, it's the last installment in the Shatter Me trilogy. If you've watched my past videos, then you might know that I was not very impressed by Shatter Me. It's about a girl named Juliet and her touch is lethal, so she can't touch anyone, and then it's about her journey discovering herself, and then there's a dystopian story around it. But I really liked Unravel Me, and I really loved Ignite Me, partly because of the plot. There actually isn't much plot in this trilogy. It's all about the characters. The characters, Tahereh's writing is so beautiful. It's so poetic. It reads like water. And I was reading another book at the same time, and I had to start comparison, and it's just like a breath of fresh air. You read her story, you read her writing, and you just flow through it. You just flow through it. You go through the story, and suddenly you're at the end, and you are fangirling and squealing. And Team Warner, just saying, Team Warner. And by the way, because people have not been really talking about this, the Pressure Waves guy at the end of Ignite Me, if you've read it, it's not really spoilery, but obviously, like, he could be a brother, just saying. He could be a brother. I mean, he looks familiar. How familiar? He's blonde. How blonde? Nobody's been talking about it. And I may be sensitive about this because I read The Well of Ascension, and if you've read The Well of Ascension, you'll know why I'm sensitive about this, because like, Anderson might have been really smart, or just really stupidly lucky. The next book that I read in February was Wonder by R.J Palacio, and I read this together with my friend Dylan, and we had a blast. It was such a heartwarming book. The book is about a boy named August, and he has a deformity on his face, so he has some kind of genetic mutation, and his face basically just looks really deformed. And he's a little boy. This is a middle grade story, and it's written in a really lovely way, and it's about him starting to go to school and how he deals with the people around him and how people around him deal with him. And the book is written out of multiple perspectives, and usually you have perspectives which you like and you have perspectives which you don't really like, but in this book every single perspective is just very eye-opening. You learn something new about different characters, about different viewpoints, and it's just, you read it and you're happy and you have faith that we're not going to destroy the planet, that people might be good deep down somewhere inside. So if you need a little pick-me-up, something that makes you really happy and just really hopeful, then you should go read Wonder. I really loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. The next book that I read was the BookTube event of the month, and that was Control by Lydia Kang. I don't know how many people have read Control. It's about two sisters named Delia and Zelia, and their father is a scientist, and he basically dies in a car crash, and they survive. Zelia gets kidnapped, and Delia has to tries to rescue her, but then she gets rescued into the safe house, and turns out that the safe house is inhabited by genetic mutants with special traits, and then her journey ensues. I like the book. I have to say it's pretty flawed in some ways. The story is really easy to get through. It's a fun read, but the writing and everything is alright, I guess. Personally, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars because it did turn fun in the end, and the ending, you know, did make me consider whether or not I might pick up the sequel when it comes out, but I'm not sure yet. But overall, I guess it was a nice read. I think it was good for the BookTube community to have such a big event to look forward to and to discuss it, and I watched a live show and it was really fun to just participate. Afterwards, I read The Rithmatist by whom? Brandon Sanderson. and I'm slowly working my way through all of his novels, and I think will be my goal for this year, to just read a lot of Brandon Sanderson. And The Rithmatist is just as delightful as all of his other novels. It's more geared towards middle grade YA, and it is basically about a boy named Joel, and he visits a school where partly there are Rithmatists being trained there, which are people who have kind of magical powers to create chalk drawings, and then they attack each other. And then there's also normal students in the school, and Joel is one of the normal students, but he really wants to become a Rithmatist, but he missed his chance. So one day, suddenly, Rithmatist students suddenly start disappearing, and Joel finds an opportunity to help solve the case. There was like a double plot twist in the end, and I absolutely loved it. I didn't see that coming at all. If you're kind of afraid of this, you know, bigger, fatter stuff, then feel free to pick up The Rithmatist or even Steelheart, because they're kind of shorter and geared towards, I guess, a younger audience, and they're great starters for his writing. And if you like it, then you can just grab all his stuff, and I'm definitely gonna read all his stuff. All his stuff. Just saying. So should you. And the last book that I read so far was Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and that is also a dystopian, but it happens on Mars. Yes, that's basically what won me over, because I was kind of making a big, you know, swerve around YA dystopian, but then I was like, oh my god, it's on Mars. What? Like, what? And I started reading it, and I couldn't help but compare it to a lot of books. Firstly, I compared it to The Hunger Games, then I compared it to Uglies, and I partly compared it to Harry Potter, then I compared it to Percy Jackson, and then I compared it to Game of Thrones. It's just a mashup of everything. It has a unique storyline, it has a unique plot. It's about this guy named Darrow, and the society on Mars, or society on Earth, is in a hierarchy, set in a hierarchy of colors, and on top are the Goldens, and they basically rule, and they're also really buff, and they're also kind of genetically modified to be really strong and beautiful, and, like, you know, the winning race. And then there's pinks and browns and reds and greens. They're told that on Mars, they're preparing the planet, they have to mine helium-3 in order for the people from Earth to be able to colonize it. And the low reds, they mine and live a really, really dirty life, and always underground. They never get to go to the surface, and they have to make the whole planet inhabitable. And one day, Darrow's wife, because she sees that they're just slaves to the society and not really what they call pioneers, she rebels and she dies, and forces Darrow into also rebelling, and he suddenly realizes that everything that the society told him was a lie. And then things happen, which I'm not gonna spoil you on, and things go really crazy, and it's a fun story to read. Really good. So the writing is really nice. It's very action-packed. There are a lot of cool characters in it. The thing is, I'm currently not really into dystopia, so I couldn't enjoy it as much as I probably would have if I would have been in the right mindset, in the right mood. But if you like dystopia, this is a really, really good book, and I think it will be a really, really good series. But that's what I've read so far, and the month is not over yet, and I probably will also be reading, because a friend of mine just gave it to me, this lovely thing. It's The Art of Frozen, and it's basically the art book of the Frozen movie, and it's absolutely beautiful. Obviously, you have a lot of character art and outfits and how they would have looked like. For example, this is Anna, and then you also have Elsa with her different hairstyles, and it's just really lovely, and you have kind of commentary to it, and I just can't wait to just flip through it. I'm currently reading The Invention of Wings by Sue Monk, which is a book on US slavery, and it is written fantastically. I'm reading it, and I'm in love with it. It's out of two perspectives, two little girls. One of them is a white girl, the other one is her slave. And it's just, I just need to I'm 50 pages in, and I already know I will love it. Yeah, I guess that was it. Tell me what you have read. Tell me if you have read anything that I mentioned today, and we will discuss it, and we will comment on each other's comments. Okay. That was all from me. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Mwah.